Yogi Bear is smarter than the average bear. Yogi Bear is always in the ranger's hair. Have a picnic basket, you will find him there, stuffing down more goodies than the average bear.
Hi, welcome to another Lemon Amiga gameplay review. This time we'll be taking a look at 3 games, all revolving around the cartoon character Yogi Bear. So to begin with, let's have a look at the first game in our trilogy. This is Yogi Bear and the Greed Monster from the Commodore 64. This is an adventure game utilising one huge map where the player has to memorise where certain objects are and to collect items. The graphics are reasonably well drawn on the 64, very colourful and cartoony, but probably the best feature is the Ben Hayes music that you're currently listening to, which plays throughout the C64 version of the game. In fact, I have to say the C64 version in this case is probably better than the Amiga version, certainly more playable, certainly more fun. So let's have a look at the Amiga version then. The Amiga version opens with a remix of the title tune, but unfortunately that's where the title tune ends because it fades out once you start the game, and the graphics are pretty garishly coloured compared to the Commodore 64 version, very bright and not at all cartoony like the 64 version. Here you can see me flicking the first switch to enter the main area, and because this is Toyland, you can pick up various toys and other items. If you happen to make contact with any of the enemies, your food meter will go down, and here you must pick up a picnic basket to charge that meter back up to the top. At the moment, you can see I have a red key, and I have 18 gold coins. There are more gold coins to collect on the level, and I can also collect sweets to fire at those enemies. You can't destroy any of those characters, but you can knock a few enemies back and use those sweets to your advantage. Now I've picked up the grey key. This is the key to open the main door to the Toyland complex, where most of your friends have been imprisoned. So this is me in the complex. You must rescue all your friends, including Boo Boo, the Snagglepuss, Quick Draw McGraw, and the other characters you can see at the bottom there. So considering the aim of the game is to basically pick up keys to unlock doors, this game is pretty flimsy. The Amiga version is not as user-friendly or as attractive or as sonically attractive as the C64 version. In fact, this is definitely one of those cases where the C64 version is better. So I don't have the red key to open the door to unlock Boo Boo. I do have the green one, but that's no good. So let's skip on to Yogi's Great Escape. This was released in 1990 from HiTec. And HiTec, if you may remember, they did acquire many of the Hanna-Barbera licenses, including Scooby-Doo, Rough and Ready, Atamant, Top Cat, Hong Kong Phooey, The Jetsons, Roadrunner, Wacky Races, and games like Alien World. And HiTec really were the masters of the Hanna-Barbera in their day. So this is the C64 version of Yogi's Great Escape. Pretty basic, to be honest, but as you can see, this is a side-scrolling platform game. The hardest part is actually on level 1, getting over these rocks which raise and lower, and as you can see, that's my 3 lives wiped out already. So in this case, the Amiga version is better than the C64, so let's check that one out. So in 1990, PAL Developments through HiTec released the Amiga version of Yogi's Great Escape, and as you can see, the graphics are immediately improved over the Commodore 64 original, as is the sound. The music is one single track played throughout the game, quoted by Howie Davis, which is, to my ears, very well done, and is certainly a step up from the silent C64 version. That item there forms part of a vehicle. This license is based on the movie Yogi's Great Escape, and in the movie the characters have to budge together a vehicle using all different car parts they find in the area, and so the game allows you to pick up parts of the vehicle for an extra special bonus at the end. Let's just go back there and pick up that part I missed earlier on. You get 3 lives, and on the even levels you can pick up extra lives as well. You must avoid trees and hunters. There you go, that's a secret bonus I picked up there. The picnic baskets are just for a bonus score, and these hunters, they start off pretty easy. They don't attack you with fire, but later on they wield guns to pick up another piece, and this secret is actually an extra life, which puts me up to 4. There is a timer on these levels, but unless the player really does dally, the time is usually plenty to get through. And some of these items are tricky to get over. The raising and lowering blocks there are probably the hardest. So let's get over this guy and nip backwards for a couple more bonuses. This is another part of the car, just one more to find. So as you can see, the parallax scrolling on this game is a tremendous step up from the C64 version. Many multi-layers of parallax, and on the later levels the parallax really do stand out. So all you need to do is get to the exit, and then you can collect all your bonuses, and then we go on to the next stage. This is the forest, again another scenario from the movie, and this time again the parallax scrolling there really makes the game really quite attractive, and the sound effects as well are taken from the cartoons to make the player right at home there. Some of those guys are difficult to jump over, requiring pixel perfect jumps, and this one as well, you have to stand right on the edge of that platform to make the next platform. I've missed it, so I'm having to go back. Let's see if I can hit that thing again, right on the edge, and just make it. And over these ones, and in this tree is an invulnerability pill, and you have to time that very, very tightly to get through that gap and past that hunter who fires bullets, and then it's just a short hop to the exit from here. The game could have done with animation during the cutscenes and a better tie into the movie, but that's certainly an omission. And on this level, level 3, this is the Wild West. In the movie, the characters have to pick up gold to clear their name. So you have to pick up gold on this level for the special bonus, these gold bags there, of which there are 6 to collect. That's the second one. I missed the one earlier on, and this is an easy one over here. By climbing these barrels and waiting for the Indian to go past, you can jump him, but timing this extra platform is difficult. So the coders definitely haven't made this game easy, even though this is a children's game. You might notice I picked up an extra life there. And this section requires a pixel perfect jump. If you fall down that gap, yes, you can pick up the burgers, but you will die. There's no escape from that level. So sneak on round to get the extra one and wait for these guys to go through. There are hidden bonuses as well, like this one, and just waiting for the final Indian to go through means an easy step to the end of the level. So even though this is a children's game, plenty of cutesy graphics, I found this game pretty difficult and yet rewarding enough to challenge further progression. It took quite a while to get through to this level. I remember back in the day, this is the Mumbo Jumbo Marsh, with what looks like 10 levels of parallax scrolling there. The coders really have gone to town. And yeah, the game is just rewarding enough to my mind to reward progression. And the graphics certainly get better as the game progresses, and the next level is even better graphically than this one. At this stage you have to lure the spider out there by touching the wall and then jumping up once that spider has disappeared. The bonuses on this level are chickens, and there's a hidden entrance there which you must get through to flick that switch, and then it's just a short hop past a few ghosts to the end of the level. So timing can be very tricky in this game, but graphically and sonically I find the game quite appealing. The funfair is probably the hardest of all the levels, requiring very tricky timing there, particularly this second blackbird. There must be a way of getting through this without hitting it, but I've yet to discover it. So you might have noticed my lives aren't going down because I've selected infinite lives just to show you this level, but it should be possible to get through this level normally. I'm now on to 2 lives. Let's see if I can get through this legitimately. There are bumper cars and the fun of the fair to avoid. Some of these guys, like this one, are particularly hard to jump over, but the rest of the level is quite easy to negotiate, navigate around, and apart from the guys shooting at you, this level is fairly easy. I'm down to 1 life, but this is an extra life I've picked up to put me up to 2. So if I get through to the end of this level, then I'm as good as completing the level legitimately. So random platforms there towards the end, and in the film, in the movie, the Yogi Bear character manages to procure a hot air balloon from the circus, from the funfair, and this game is no exception. All you have to do is find that hot air balloon to get to the 6th and final level on this game, which takes us through to New York. So this is it. This is kind of a thrust kind of game. The player has to press fire to increase their height and release fire to drop down, and all you have to do is avoid these blackbirds on this level. I'm still playing with infinite lives, but you'll notice I don't die. This is probably the easiest level of the entire game, and really gives away the fact that this is a kids game, and by the time the player gets to this level, they are looking forward to an easy finish. The game probably takes about 20 minutes to complete, which isn't long by any standards, particularly compared to the 60-hour plus games of today, but I find this quite fun and well worth playing occasionally. There are a few bugs, like the player gets to enter the name in a high score table, but the coders haven't had time to code the high score table, so that doesn't appear, rendering the score system useless. Sometimes the collision detection is very sensitive, particularly when jumping over hunters and things like that. But on the whole, I find this game fun and well worth a play every now and again, just to complete those levels and to experience a nice easy platformer. So here we are. This is the end of the level. This is the Empire State Building, and that takes us to a mission complete screen with a surprisingly good representation of the President Bush there. So the final game I will show you is the final HiTec Yogi Bear game. In 1992, 2 years after The Great Escape, the team came back together in an effort to code an even better Yogi Bear game, the Amiga. Once again, the music by Howie Davis and similar coders there. And so let's see what this game's all about then. And as the game loads, we shall see this is another side-scrolling platform game, similar to Yogi's Great Escape, but much bigger. There are maybe 6 levels on this game. The first one is probably the hardest one of them all. All you have to do is collect the rubbish. As you can see, I've just picked up a Coke can. You have to pick up the rubbish and take them to the nearest bin, the nearest trash can, and there are 8 items to pick up on this first level. Watching out for enemies and things like that. You can avoid enemies by jumping over those, and if you are handy with the fire button, you can also press fire to launch a missile at those guys to kill them. Once they're dead. So I'm still trying to find a bin there to dispose of this can. There are other creatures like frogs, you can see there, and fish, and the usual cartoony little bits there. I've swapped the can for a burger, still looking for a trash can, and if I have to level one criticism about this game, among all criticisms, there you go, I've just dumped it in there, finding the trash cans is particularly difficult. There are only one per couple of levels, so it can be a task finding those. The lives are represented by the fork in the top left corner. I have 2 out of the 3, and the energy is represented by the knife, and I have full energy. So I've picked up the burger and disposed that in the bin. Probably the hardest item of all is the green bottle to find, and the enemies will pick up those items. If you happen to have an item and you get touched by an enemy, they will steal those off you. You might notice I hit the fish there, and waggling the joystick on dry land will get those fish off your rear end. There are also bees, which require the player to jump into water to get rid of those. And I'm swapping items here, picking up different items, but without a bin to throw them in, it's pretty difficult. Another criticism is the collision detection, and particularly the frogs and those very difficult hedgehogs there. Sometimes the gun will hit those and dispose of them, sometimes they won't. Sometimes the platforms are also difficult to jump onto, and sometimes the water sections are difficult to get out of, which doesn't encourage the player at all. As I say, this first level is the hardest probably in the game, and I'm down to 2 lives and still haven't managed to collect all the items. In level 2, Yogi has to put together a bicycle, and he can enter a tree stump to put together parts of the bicycle. On level 3, we play as Boo Boo in a sea level, an underwater level, where putting certain items together to complete the mission isn't very obvious. And after that, there are various levels, including a film, a movie set, and things like that. So I have to say this game, compared to Yogi's Great Escape, is nowhere near as good. And even though the graphics are similarly drawn, they're not as well drawn. The playability, even though it's similarly coded, isn't as well coded. The collision detection certainly isn't up to the same standards, and overall quite a disappointment, it has to be said. There are a few tricks you can do in this game, including rapid jump and rapid run, things like that, but certainly not enough to encourage the player to advance past level 1. And the contacted enemies like that, the frog is certainly frustrated enough to put the player off. So that's trash there. You get a score for getting more items into the bin, but you can only pick up one of those items necessary to complete the level. That's 5 items picked up and 1 life remaining. So while I have this life remaining, I'll just show you one of the features of the game. If you go into the Rangers building on this level 1, you will pick up some more bonus items, none of which help towards your quota, but I have to show you this because of the parallax scrolling, which is reasonably well done on this level. If all the levels were like this, it would have been fun. Level 2, the swamp level, has parallax scrolling similar to this, and the feel of level 2 is certainly a step up from level 1. In fact, as I said, the levels do get better as it goes on, but to be honest, this isn't an amazing game. If I was going to recommend any Yogi's games on the Amiga, it would be Yogi's Great Escape, without a shadow of a doubt. And oh dear, I'm died. So that's it then. That's the Yogi's Trilogy on the Amiga. So thanks for playing those games with me. Perhaps we'll take a look at a few cartoon conversions in the future. Thank you.